Disclaimer, I am no professional in game designing nor character balancing. I'm just some guy who play video games on the internet and have something to say. With that being said, I want Squirrel Girl removed. So when Marvel Rivals came out, I was excited about it, but at the same time I was kinda worried. Since I don't have a good experience with hero shooters and Overwatch, I was worried that the same problem might happen with Rivals. But turns out I was wrong. And despite all the flaws that it has, Rivals is still really fun to play. However, I am still pissed at this game. Not because they deep fried my boy Jeff, not because Dr. Doom is not in the game yet, but because Squirrel Girl is still a fucking thing in this game. I can't stress enough when I say I fucking hate this character.
Crush the skull, thank you.
And I'm not saying that you should, but I hate her. There's a lot of reasons why I want to hunt down and burn this rodent alive. But to sum it up, she is too good and too easy to play. Now, wouldn't that be a good thing for new players who just started the game? Well, I hear you ask. Well, yes, but no. While Squirrel Girl's entire gameplay consists of shooting nuts at people and when the time comes throw a bigger nut, it encourages you to be brain dead while positively rewarding you with kills. Exciting, that little dopamine dosage in your brain, you know? Yes, I do see Squirrel Girl players running around and position themselves, but once that's over, it's an endless loop of spamming at the choke points. Kinda remind me of a certain Australian maniac. Essentially, the key takeaway from Squirrel Girl and her kit is that her nuts explode, and it goes 5 big boom. Not only does she have the range and little to no fall off for her projectile, by the way, the acorn explodes shortly after making impact, even if you miss. This would have been fine if the AoE wasn't big or even having some damage fall off for it. But no, the acorn is still a threat when it doesn't just stop there though, cause her primary fire is effective in any range, with almost no downsides. No self-damage, no knockback, no nothing, making this probably more annoying than an aimbotting Scarlet Witch. Aside from her spammable M1 and the ability to defy gravity in some occasions, her ability to throw a comically big acorn that deals damage and imprison you just kinda kills you instantly. And what's that? She can do it twice in a row? And then there's her ultimate. I know it kills fast for a reason, I know there's a way to counter it. But for the love of God, please punish her! Evaporate the family of 10! If only there was a character whose kit involves explosive and deal like big AoE damage, or actually demonstrate a more effective and rewarding way to use it. Oh, wait. What makes him a good Demoman? If he was a bad Demoman, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing him now, would I? Demoman in many ways is similar to Squirrel Girl, but better. He uses a lot of explosives, trap, and overall, more fun to play. I am aware that there's a vast amount of difference between the two games, so first things first, let's get resource management out of the way. If you have played TF2 and Rivals before, you will instantly notice that Rivals have infinite ammo. While you still need to reload, you kinda reload everything in one go. On the other hand, you reload one bullet at a time in TF2.
Attack equipped off, kill bind.
And you still have to resupply your ammunition via ammo boxes or resupply cabinets. To me, this makes TF2 feels more impactful when you miss a shot because you know that you could have killed someone or helped your team advance. However, you miss and now you might risk the chance of dying as well, especially for single fire weapons, since if you whiff, it's practically death free. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk projectiles. Similar to Squirrel Girl, Demoman's primary allows him to launch grenades that explodes on impact with the enemy, and after a set amount of time when missed. It is most effective mid-range and crowd, while also dealing a beautiful 100 damage for a direct shot. Due to the limited effective range Demoman has, it encourages you to think about when and how you should use a grenade, as well as learning how to aim and predict enemies' movements.
Great success.
Since the more often you hit your shots, the more often you kill, and the more alcohol rushes directly into your pee-pee. Of course, we can't make a proper comparison without mentioning Demoman's secondary. Probably the best weapon in the game, the sticky bomb launcher. It's pretty self-explanatory. It fires sticky bombs that can be remotely detonated manually. Although you can't detonate the bomb immediately after firing, it is still quite a scary sight to see. This is great as both a offensive and defensive tool, since it deals great splash damage and is perfect for trapping and interrupting the enemy's route of attack and escape. This is practically Demoman's perfect weapon, aside from a bottle of scotch and a good swing. At this point, you might be thinking, why would you be trashing on Squirrel Girl when Demoman is practically the same thing, if not better? Well, here's the catch. Demoman is hard. His weapon and playstyle is not difficult to understand and get into. However, to effectively attack and survive as Demoman, it requires you to ferment your own bones and be intoxicated 24/7. Despite all of his strength and unique playstyle, he's not invincible. He's just a... You see, environmental and self-damage is a thing that exists, and it can either be really funny or really scary. Classes that mainly utilize explosive like Soldier and Demoman are heavily affected by this, making it more of a risk to attack head-on without a plan. So while Demoman might be an absolute nightmare to deal with at mid-range, he also becomes a danger to himself once you get too close, and kinda useless once you're too far away. So you always gotta keep in mind that your explosives can always backfire on you, whether it is because of recklessly walking into the same path that you rapid fire, or forgetting that you're right under your own traps. And of course, there's always the chance of a pyro countering you or an engineer with a spirit bomb. Aside from the difference of the weapons and the fundamental of the two games, Demoman has counters. A lot of counters. I'm aware that there are counters in Rivals too, specifically for metas like divers and whatnot. However, I can't seem to find an actual counter for Squirrel Girl besides get good and hit your shots, which generally it's just for everyone. And what's funny is that at the time of me writing this script, she got buffed. Again. Fuck! I just personally think that without a specific or many ways to counter a character, it only encouraged the players to be more brain dead and complain when they keep dying. Yes, I am talking about you, DPS. Whereas Demoman has counters with classes like Scout, Pyro, and Heavy, who are really up close and personal, classes that are equally destructive like Soldier, or more tactical like Sniper and Spy. You would have to learn how to keep your distance and play into the enemy's weakness, while also looking out for signs of danger around you and adapt to all of this. Meanwhile, Squirrel Girl only requires you to fire in the general direction. And that's just about enough to do something. So in short, there are heavy consequences when you whiff as Demoman, and there is not as much when you play as Squirrel Girl. While some may argue that there are also annoying and spammable strategy like sticky spamming in TF2, I would still die on this hill of saying that it is less annoying than seeing a fucking Squirrel Girl at the other end of the map shooting at you, and no one is doing anything about it. In conclusion, I hate Squirrel Girl, I want her hanged, and Demoman is my favorite gender. That's about it.